Hey, boys and girls, today we are going to start a new piece of writing, and we are going to be reading Frank Pearl and the Awful Waffle Kerfuffle. And the question that we're going to be answering is, how did Frank win the contest? So today for writing, we're basically going to be doing a retelling of Frank um, and how he won the contest. Now, as we are reading and planning today, your response basically should be, like I said, a retell of the story. And one thing that we want to really make sure that we include as we do this is that we want to be thinking about how writers include character feelings when writing a summary of a fiction story. So let's say that again. Writers include character feelings when retelling a fiction story. So we want to be thinking about Frank's feelings as we go ahead and as we write about Frank Pearl and the awful waffle kerfuffle. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question one more time. How did Frank win the contest? Excuse me, as Mr. Gilbert sneezes. And then let's go ahead and let's take a look at the article. So we're going to read this together today. We're going to mark up the text and we're going to talk about how Frank won the contest. So let's go ahead and let's read it first. Then we'll go back and mark it up. You can read it with me. You can mark it up on your own as you are reading with me, but make sure that you have some sort of writing utensil to mark up the text. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Frank Pearl in the Awful Waffle Kerfuffle. Frank pointed to the poster in the school lunchroom. His mouth fell open. A glob of sandwich fell out. Gross, said Judy Moody and Jessica Finch. Gross, said Amy and Rocky. The great third grade breakfast bash and waffle off. This Saturday in the school cafeteria, families welcome. Prizes for best waffles. Proceeds go to the third grade field trip. Well, look, it's a third grade breakfast bash. We get to come to the cafeteria on Saturday with our families and eat breakfast. What's so great about breakfast? Asked Rocky. It's only the most important meal of the day, Jessica Finch said. Breakfast tastes like pencil shavings, said Rocky. But this year it's a waffle off, said Frank, to raise money for our third grade trip. So we can go to the smelly jelly bean factory, said Judy, where they make weird flavors of jelly beans, like toothpaste and rotten eggs. What's a waffle off? A waffle off? Asked Amy. The waffle off is the best contest ever, said Frank. It's to see who can make the best, most amazing waffle. They give out blue ribbons for all kinds of waffles, said Jessica, like most blueberries, whipped creamiest, and the best use of sprinkles. I'm going to win, said Frank. I can feel it. Are you? Off your waffle, Frank? Asked Judy. You can't even cook, Rocky said, can you? Parents make waffles, Jessica told him. All you have to do is dress up your waffle with fancy whipped cream and sprinkles and stuff. Then Mr. Todd gives out ribbons before they get eaten. Frank and his friends got quiet, dreaming about waffles. I've got a great idea for my waffle, said Frank. Is your waffle a sandwich? Judy asked. Mine is going to be a whipped cream sandwich. Does your waffle play sports? Rocky asked. Mine is going to play sports, and it's not going to taste like pencil shavings. My idea goes snap, crackle, pop. My idea will blow your mind. Just you wait. At last it was Saturday. Welcome to the great third grade breakfast bash, said Mr. Todd. Thanks for coming to our waffle off. I hope you are all ready to break an egg. Everybody laughed. Ready, set, waffle. Moms and dads poured batter onto sizzling waffle irons. Psh, fluffy, puffy golden waffles. Frank had hidden his top secret waffle under a cake dome. Ta-da! Said Frank, presenting. He lifted the lid. The super amazing exploding volcano waffle. A hill, a mountain, a tower of brown jelly beans rose up from the waffle like volcano. Marshmallow fluff spewed from a hole in the top. Pop, pop, fizz, fizz. Fizzle, whizzles, and sizzlers popped and exploded like lava. Wait till Mr. Todd sees this, said Frank. Blue ribbon, here I come. Then all of a sudden, the fizzles fizzled and the whizzles melted into the sizzlers. Rainbow-colored lava oozed down the jelly bean mountain. Glop! The glop hit the floor in one giant gloppy glob of glue. Oh, gross, said the kids. Where's all this waffle kerfuffle? Asked Mr. Todd. It's Frank's super amazing waffle. It's Frank's super amazing exploding waffle, said Judy. Super amazing disaster waffle, said Frank. It's supposed to be an exploding volcano, but the jelly beans caved in. and all the Pop Rocks ran together. Now it just looks like a giant mud pie. He ran to grab a towel from the kitchen. On his way, he passed the prize table full of ribbons, shiny blue ribbons that called out, most, best, biggest, fanciest. He would never win the contest now. He he would no way, no how be taking home a ribbon. When he came back to the towel, Frank could not believe his eyes. There, gleaming in the sunbeam light, was none other than one of those very same big shiny blue prize ribbons. The ribbon was on his waffle. Frank leaned in and read, "One of a kind. I won? I actually won a contest? With a blue ribbon?" He looked at Mr. Todd. "Your waffle is in a class by itself, Frank." Frank stuck the blue ribbon on his shirt and he grinned. "It's one of a kind," said Mr. Todd, "just like you." Okay, so that was an awesome story, kind of a tongue twister. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the story. Let's take a look back at our question before we go ahead and mark up the text. How did Frank win the waffle contest? So, like we said, we kind of want to include a retell of our fiction story. And um, as we're doing this, I want you to be thinking about character feelings because I think this is really important, adding character feelings into our writing. So today we're gonna box and bullet plan our three ways he won the waffle contest, and then we'll expand on each one of those ways in our box and bullet plan. So right now, I want you to go mark up the text and find three ways that led to our friend Frank Pearl winning that contest. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and talk. If you're not ready, and if you didn't mark it up when I was reading it, that's okay. Just pause and unpause it when you're ready. Now, this is a long text today. We're over several pages of this text, and we're basically doing a retell of this fiction story. Now, I think if we take a look at our text, um, in paragraph 11 here, we start to learn about the waffle contest, and we learn about Frank. Um, and Frank explains what the contest is. We're definitely going to need to put a little bit of this context in our writing to build up what the waffle contest is. So if we just say Frank won the contest, yada, 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 no one's going to know what we're talking about. So we want to give a little bit of context and background knowledge to our reader. So we're going to have to include some of this kind of information about Frank winning the contest. But the reason I'm highlighting this actually is because Frank is right here on line 13. I think this is important, and I'm gonna do a lot of underlining today. I think Frank says he's gonna win the waffle contest, and I think this is kind of a crucial piece in our writing because um, he's feeling kind of confident, right? Frank is starting to feel confident about the contest itself, and I really like this piece of information because it kind of shows us how he's feeling at the time when the waffle contest gets introduced. So this is something might want to consider putting in our box and bullet plan. Let's continue to take a look and let's try to figure out some ways that Frank builds and goes and talks about how he's going to win the contest. So if we scroll down here to, let's see, line 21, I think this is another solid piece of information. Let's change it up. Let's change to blue here. I like this line right here. My idea snap, crackle, pops. My idea will blow your mind. Just you wait. I think this is another piece of information where we can kind of scroll up here and he's feeling confident, right? Frank's definitely going to win the contest. And here we kind of start to learn about Frank's idea. Frank had hidden his top secret waffle under the cake. We learn in the next few lines. Let me get my little pointer out here so you can see. Starting with line or paragraph, sorry, 24, all the way down, I'd say to about line 25 or paragraph 25. This piece of information shows us Frank's top secret waffle. So let's go ahead and let's just do some underlining here. So top secret under a cake dome. He lifted the lid. Super amazing exploding volcano. We definitely want to include that in our writing because it's talking about his specific waffle. It's that volcano. We can include tower of jelly beans rose up from the waffle like a volcano. Marshmallow fluff spewed from the top. Pop, fizzle, whizzle. Woo, all this information. I think this is a really solid piece of information as well because this really gives us context about his idea. Let's see if there's anything else. So we have the waffle was introduced. Frank said he's going to win, so we can start with his confidence, and then we can talk about his idea as a top secret. We can talk about Frank and the top secret idea here. That's a little bit more background knowledge, and now we need to talk about how he actually wins the contest. So let's scroll down here to the last page. Good. Um, well, so if we actually scroll up here to paragraph 31, we have the super amazing disaster waffle, said Frank, and here he kind of loses that confidence. It's supposed to be an exploding volcano, but the jelly beans caved in, and all the pop rocks ran together, and now it just looks like a giant mud pie. So I think it's actually worth, even if we don't use all of this, I think it's worth underlining some of this. Whoops, there we go. Um, all the pop rocks came together. Now it just looks like a giant mud pie. And here's where it starts to fall apart. So Frank doesn't think he's going to win here, but I think, again, this is a valuable piece of information because we know that his idea didn't necessarily work. And now he wins the contest. So let's go down to where he wins the contest. So let's find that information. Whoops. And I like this one line here, and I'm going to use this in my writing. Your waffle is in a class by itself, Frank. Frank stuck the blue ribbon on his shirt and grinned. I'm going to underline these two lines because this is where Frank actually wins because his waffle is different than everyone else's. It's distinct. It's just like him. So I think this could be our third piece of information. So I have several things underlined right now. I want you to go ahead and whatever you have, maybe it's something along the lines of what I have. Maybe it's different. I want you to start filling in your box and bullet plan with just your three details right now. Just go ahead and do your three details. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start filling in my box of bullet plan right here. I'm going to start with I'm going to win. I'm actually going to include that in my box and bullet point um, when I expand on my details. So I'm going to say Frank is confident about winning. Let's expand on that. Whoops. Let's expand on that idea. Nope. That's not what I want to do again. Right here. And I think I'm just going to use this piece of evidence right here. I'm going to win, said Frank. I can feel it. I think we definitely want to include this in our plan. Or I want to include this in my plan as my extra detail because it shows how confident he is. And we can talk about the character, Frank, and how he's feeling at the beginning of the story. Let's go down to number 2. So, again, you should have yours done. If not, pause it, come back when you are done. I'm going to scroll down to his actual idea. If my idea snap, crackle, pops, it's going to blow your mind. Again, we underline that because it shows his confidence. But I'm going to actually talk about the exploding volcano idea. So I'm going to go to my box and bullet plan. I'm going to write exploding volcano. So here, I want to be talking about his idea. I'm going to include, when I go to write this tomorrow, how it's under the cake dome, how it has a tower of jelly beans, how Marshmallow is going to spew, and I'm going to use some of these actual words here, like spew from the volcano top. And let's go ahead and let's just expand on that idea here in our plan. Exploding volcano, and then we can actually add a little bit of those details right now into the plan. I'm going to say top secret idea, and I think we're just going to expand on that then tomorrow. And we're going to talk about all the things in that top secret. We're going to talk about the jelly beans, the marshmallow, like we just talked about. All right, let's go on to the third way that Frank wins the contest. And that's when he actually kind of wins the contest here. So let's scroll down to where it's the disaster, the super amazing disaster waffle. And I'm actually going to use the word disaster in my plan. This is, this is where he actually, there we go, wins the contest. It all starts to fall apart if we go back in the text and look. It all starts to fall apart at paragraph 31. Super amazing waffle disaster, said Frank. It was supposed to be an exploding volcano, but the jelly beans caved in. Pop rocks ran together. Now it just looks like a giant mud pie. He goes to grab a towel in the kitchen. On his way, he passes the prizes, the table full of ribbons, and this is where he learns that he is going to win. So I wrote disaster as my plan, and I'm going to expand on that now in the line below. It was a disaster, but Frank wins contest is going to be the next part of my plan. I'm going to talk about to close out the disaster and then how Frank actually wins the contest because of the disaster, because this was very original. So right now, we forgot to write our topic sentence. Let's go ahead and let's write a topic sentence down in our box and bullet plan so that when we come back together tomorrow, you are all ready to go and we can start writing. So write your topic sentence down right now. So I wrote Frank Pro wins the waffle contest. I'm going to probably expand on this tomorrow in the next few sentences and give some background knowledge about what the waffle contest is. Hopefully, you have something along those lines. I'd love to hear out or see some of your box and bullet plans today. So feel free to shoot Mr. Gilbert a text message with those or just an email. Shout out to Mila. Mila sent me all her work the other day. Had some really, really nice solid plans and writing. Guys and girls, I hope to see you all very soon. Let me know how everyone's doing, and I will talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.